Hello, my name is Stella Ene-Iyang, your Queen of Talk, and I welcome you to another edition of the program, Tango with ST. Love, they say, is a very dangerous game. So whenever you decide to play it, be wary of how you place your heart's cards on the table. Let's take the story of Kajitan and Flora, a guy who dated a lady for about 28 years. He started dating her when she was 18. From the story, it says he actually disvirgined her and promised to marry her. But 28 years later, he decided she wasn't good enough for him anymore and now settling for a 22-year-old girl. Would you say Flora was stupid for waiting for 28 years? Or Kajitan was wicked, or rather is wicked for keeping a lady for that long? We have some contributors to this topic today. Let's hear from them. Let us start with Ada. Would you say Flora was stupid for waiting for Kajitan for 28 years?
I must say, this is an interesting conversation. But you see, it is not quite a black or white argument based on relationship dynamics. Again, what works for one may not necessarily work for another. It will be difficult to come to the conclusion that one person is stupid or even wrong, especially as we do not have every single detail of their relationship. In this particular case, I would say it shouldn't be a problem if it was an agreement between the two of them and they were both comfortable with it. And as I said earlier, this should not be judged one-sidedly. Both Kajitan and Flora have their fair share of the blame.
Let's have another contributor in the person of Grace Tango. Do you think Flora was stupid for waiting for that long for Kajitan, or would you rather blame Kajitan?
Thank you, Stella, for having me. My thoughts on the issues that you've discussed, the question that you asked, I don't think Flora was stupid, believing, for waiting for Kajitan for that long, for 28 years. I just think, because we don't know. There was something she was probably getting from the relationship which made her hold on to him for that long. And nobody really knows because, I would ask a lot of questions, really. But I wouldn't judge her to say she was stupid or anything, because I just think she loved him and there was something she was gaining from the relationship which led to her staying with him for 28 years. The second question, I don't blame Kajitan I wouldn't blame anybody, really, because like I said, we don't really know there's a lot of, you can get a lot of questions out of this story. So I wouldn't blame him because I don't know. Right, he's dated her for 28 years. She's 46 now. You don't know why they stayed for that long and why he decided, because if his main aim or his main reason for leaving her is based on menopause, then that's his reason, really. That's why he's gone for a younger person. So we don't know if she had issues with maybe having children, because she's been with him for 28 years. So, obviously we know she probably, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't blame him because we don't really know. So yeah, that's my take on that one. I wouldn't blame him, really, or I wouldn't blame anybody.
Okay. All right. So, in your own view, how long do you think ladies should stay or should remain in a courtship? By the way, how long is even long?
Well, as unique individuals that we are, We do not all have the same pace. A courtship I consider to be a long one may not be long enough for another. How long is long? Good question. I'll say this should be determined by how long it takes the couple to understand themselves well enough to know that they are compatible. Personally, I think that 28 years is a long wait for anyone. At some point, one should be able to tell if the relationship is working or not. Especially if marriage is your end goal. Bottom line is, know yourself, and most importantly, be true to yourself. Try not to be pressurized by anyone, not even society. Go at your own pace.
I would say that I want to fault the lady in that 28 years is a very long time. Some ladies nowadays, they within 3 months of dating, they'll know this person is serious or not. I think she was holding on to her childhood fantasy of, you know, this guy disvirgin me, and I think religion has a lot to play. Maybe she's feeling, oh, this is the first guy that is virgin me, and then it's only right that I date this person owing to that Christian context of you and your husband, you know, being only the person to get intimate with. I think she didn't grow psychologically, because there are two types of growth. There is the psychological growth and there is the physical growth. She just grew. I think she's 48. That's 28 years. There's 20. She grew physically, but mentally she did not grow. Over time, you should know. I mean, it's a no-brainer. 28 years is quite a long time. It's more than 2 decades. So that's why I want to fault her. But then I'll not fault her 100%. The guy on his part might be a manipulative person. I mean, I didn't get to live their life, and I wonder how the guy is, and I don't know the kind of play that might have happened over the years. However, what I know is, from this very, very vague, I would say it's vague because it's not, I'm not really in their life, but looking at it now on plain paper, I want to fault her. I would fault her. I'll fault her because she did not grow psychologically. You should be able to discern if a person truly loves you within the space of 3 months. 3 months is okay. You just start asking questions like, oh, what are your plans for the future? What, you know, those things. Do you want kids? I think people are scared to have those questions. Thank God for the whole feminism movement. Women are now bold enough to say these things, and you know, so that's just what I feel. I'll blame the man for being manipulative, but I will blame her for not growing psychologically. Yeah, that's it.
What I would like to add, you know, in all of this is a story. It's a sad one, you know, but it's based. A lot of people go through it. Women, you know. I'm just going to look at it from the point of where we stay in relationships for so long, even when we know that this relationship is not going anywhere, but we don't have that confidence, enough confidence and faith to step out of it. We just feel, well, because I've been with this guy for so long, you know, I don't think I'll be able to find somebody else. You can. So my advice would be, you know, if you're in it, have that faith and have that confidence to be able to step out of a relationship that's not going in the direction that you want to. Because I've seen people who have been they've met, and after 6 months they've married, and you know, 20 years along the line they're still married. And I've seen people who've been in relationships, like they met, they courted for about 2, 3, 4 years, and they married, and it didn't even last 2 years. So it doesn't really matter the number of, the thing is where you are, the point you are in your life when you meet that person, and always be able to step away when you notice that it's not going in your own direction. Have that faith and surround yourself with the right people who will tell you the truth, and be willing to listen and, you know, heed advice, really. You know, so that's my own, you know, that's my last, that's what I'll add to it, really. You know, women, be ready, have that self-confidence to be able to step away, you know, step out of a relationship that's not working, you know, rather than staying there for so long. It's best to just leave.
So what would you say about instances where we've had men wait for ladies, then at the end of the day, the ladies, they say they don't want to get married to the man? For example, a man sees a lady all through school with the intention that when she's done, they will get married, only for the girl to get back home and say she's no longer interested in the marriage. Given this situation, it shows that it's not just a case of men disappointing ladies. Ladies also disappoint men, right? It's a two-way thing. Someone said the man should be sued. So we spoke with a lawyer who had this to say.
Now, to bring it down to the issue at hand, according to the Flora, there was a promise moving from Kajetan to her that she will be married, and now the marriage has failed to occur. So in this instant matter, there is a breach, a clear breach of promise to marry Flora, and now there's a remedy for her in law. In our courts, it is recognized that where a person breaches such a promise, the person who is aggrieved, that is Flora now, can bring an action for damage. Of course, she may not be able to compel the court to enforce that promise, but she could get an award in damage. But to be able to establish that indeed there was a breach of promise to marry, it's expected of Flora to show that there was a commitment from both Kajetan and herself that there will be a marriage in the future, which Kajetan has now turned around to fail to observe. Now, she must show to court that it was not just a mere love affair, that it was something beyond a convivial love affair between the parties, between the two of them. So there must be something significant to prove that indeed Kajetan promised to marry her sometime in the future and now has failed to observe that promise. The things that she must show to court, if she has anything in writing, it will be good to establish that at a point in time, Kajetan actually promised her marriage, which she has now failed to observe. So if there's anything in writing, any written thing at all, it will help to substantiate her claim. Again, if she's able to show that Kajetan followed through by going for an introduction or a betrothal ceremony, it will also serve as a conclusive evidence of the promise. I'm glad that this topic is coming up at this point in time, because it is I've often heard of ladies taking laws into their hands and going for self-help, where they've been promised marriage which never occurred. A particular case is ongoing in Adamawa State, where a lady is suing a boyfriend, a pastor, for breach of promise to marry. Now, I'm glad that this matter is coming up this time, because a lot of people are ignorant about the law, and I hope that this topic will come into enlighten our ladies on the right steps to legal steps to take when such occurs. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Barrister Emmanuel Akioya. You've heard him. It's not just about he promised to marry me or she promised to marry me. You must have something to hold on to present as evidence that this person promised to marry you. If not, nothing is going to work for you in court. In other words, when you have promises like that, it's either it is written or there is an introduction with pictures and all of that. All right, we've heard it all from our contributors. Need I say more? Guys, ladies, men, women, boys, girls out there, when you make commitments when it comes to love, please be sure to follow through. If you're not ready, do not make that commitment. Perhaps Kajetan made that commitment because he wanted to sleep with Flora, get her this virgin at that point. But I'm just thinking, why did it take him 28 years to decide that he wasn't going to marry her? Well, that's just a part of the story that we heard. Nevertheless, whenever we make promises, let's be sure of what we are committing to. On that note, I say thank you for watching and thank you to all my contributors. I hope you'll be here again next time. Be careful when you play the game of love. The heart is very fragile and it breaks and hurts like you cannot describe. My name is still Stella Eneyang, your queen of talk. Always remember, this is Tango with ST. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Bye for now.